Week 3 of fantasy football is in the books, and wow, what a roller coaster. From breakout stars to major busts, clutch performances to heartbreaking injuries, this week gave us plenty to talk about. In this video, we're breaking down the biggest takeaways that you need to know heading into Week 4. Who's rising, who's falling, and how to get ahead in your league. Let's dive in. Number 1, Jordan Addison. He just returned from an injury this week, and in his first game with the Vikings, he scored 15 fantasy points. This is with the backup Carson Wentz, because J.J. McCarthy is out. He didn't even score a touchdown in this game, so he has a lot more growth to go. If J.J. McCarthy comes back, he'll get more and more points as the offense becomes stronger and stronger as the season goes on. Number 2, Jaxson Dart. In his first start last week, he led the Giants to their first win of the season against the previously undefeated Chargers. The Chargers had gone 3-0 before that, so beating them was a big deal. But he also got 20 fantasy points. And he is questionable, but if he plays, he could continue to win games and put up these very good levels of fantasy points. He only threw 1 touchdown last week, meaning he has a lot more passing room to go. Number 3, the New England running backs. This one is kind of cheating, but Ramondre Stevenson, Travion Henderson, and Antonio Gibson have all been busts this year. They're in a timeshare. None of them have been very productive. They've all averaged about 5 to 9 fantasy points per game, and have each taken a share of the carries. I think the best week any one of them had was maybe 12 points by Travion Henderson in week 4. That might be a sign of him starting to emerge from the pack, but I wouldn't expect anything. I think it's going to continue to be a timeshare, and these guys are continuing to be letdowns. Number 4, David Montgomery. David Montgomery has had an up and down start to the season, because after he had an amazing week 3 with 29.4 fantasy points, proving his fantasy worth, in week 4, he did the exact opposite, scoring 1.6. It's hard to know where he will go from here, but I think it will be somewhere in the middle, maybe somewhere around 12 fantasy points per game. I think he's still a solid option, but you just got to keep an eye on him to see how he does in the weeks to come. Number 5, Kenneth Gainwell. Kenneth Gainwell is on this list because he had an incredible week 4. He scored 32 points, and it might be easy to pick him up because he has a bye week this week. You should add him to a roster and keep an eye on him in the weeks to come, because he could become one of the lead running backs for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 6, Lad McConkey. He has gone downhill from last season, and he has decreasing points every game. 13 in week 1, 10 in week 2, 8 in week 3, and only 2 in week 4. He needs to step up his game, and the addition of Keenan Allen and the emergence of Quinshon Judkins have not helped. He needs to score more points if he can prove that he's going to be a viable fantasy option. I wouldn't start him for now, and just keep an eye on him on your... Number 7, Ashton Jeanty. Last week he had a breakout week with 6 yards per carry. Before that he was a little bit quiet, but in his game against the Colts, he should be able to capitalize and score a ton of fantasy points. Number 8, Quinshon Judkins. He has cemented himself as a solid running back too after he joined the Cleveland Browns early in the season. He's averaged 16 fantasy points per game, and he's playing a weak Vikings defense. Number 9 is Xavier Worthy. In his first week back from his early season injury, he had a breakout week, scoring 17.1 fantasy points. This week, he will be playing against the Jaguars, who are a weaker team, and he should be able to take advantage of that, so you should start him. Number 10, injuries. First up, we got Lamar Jackson. This is the shortest injury of the three. He hurt his hamstring, but he'll be back in about 2 to 3 weeks, likely. Malik Neighbors is the second one. He tore his ACL, so he'll be out for the season. Tyreek Hill is also out for the season after he suffered a gruesome knee injury. He dislocated his knee. Very sad if you have these players. But if you should look for their backups. Neighbors, that's going to be Wan'Dale Robinson. Hill, that's going to be Jalen Waddle. And whoever the backup for the Ravens is, you should look for him this week. That wraps up our Week 3 fantasy football takeaways. As always, stay sharp, stay active on the waiver wire, and keep an eye on those matchups heading into Week 4. If you got value from this breakdown, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe so you don't miss next week's recap. Good luck setting those lineups, and see you in Week 4.